there, this is Wakeangel2K1. I'm using a new microphone today, so it may sound a little bit different. Hopefully it's an improvement. But it is time for the second part of the winner of my fan poll from earlier, Mega Man. Because why not? Alright, so, Mega Man was in the Worlds Unite crossover. He is the 12th roboticized master. Kind of unique in that he started out as a robot and then was kind of reprogrammed into a robot master. Although technically Mega Man is classified as a robot master. Anyway, his arsenal is pretty awesome, consisting of a bunch of parodies of stuff from the Sonic universe, including Amy's Pico Pico Hammer, the Egg Wrecker from the first boss in the first Sonic game, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And the fight was pretty cool because it was the very first issue to feature Gemerald appearing in the comic books canon. I love how the new writing staff, like they put in a Segata Sanshiro reference in the Sonic, the Fighters story arc, and they actually managed to get freaking Gemerald to cameo in Worlds Unite. I mean, I love these guys! These are my favorite comic book guys! But I'm not doing a long-winded explanation of the comic book appearance. We're making a toy, so let's get to that. Alright, so the base toy. It's kind of interesting this time because it's not a Jazzwares figure. At least I don't think it is. It's this weird Mega Man guy. He was given to me by Vance DJ Beal. I made a Mechasonic custom for him like forever ago. It's an unusual little figure. It has like gold flake. I think it used to have like a launching missile gimmick in the left arm, but it was broken. But whatever. It was a Mega Man figure which was in almost the right proportions and had good articulation. The thing, it was a little bit too tall, but also the legs were kind of way oversized. And as you can see from this picture where I have the knees bent, the legs aren't even straight. They go at like this weird angle. I don't get the stance they were going for, because it just looks weird and unnatural for Mega Man to be that way. It would have been better if he was just standing straight. So I had to cut the legs off so I could reposition them so that the knees would go the right direction. But then I also looked and found that the skeletons of the internal part of the knees weren't even the same length. No wonder this guy looks so unnatural standing. His legs were two different lengths. So, of course, I had to remake the legs pretty much from scratch below the knees. I used the Mega Man Amiibo as a reference for the proportions I should use, and this succeeded in making the figure short enough that he could stand next to the Sonic characters and not look too tall, because in the comic book, Mega Man is about the same height as Sonic. The mods to the body are much lighter. I just basically had to sculpt the cuffs on his sleeves. Everything else would be accomplished through a repaint job, at least for the body. The head had a little bit more work to it. I sculpted over his big, stupid, smiling face and put on an appropriate grimacing scowl to match his expression. And then I smoothed over the helmet because there really was a lot of scratching and scars on it, and added the little nose which is the Eggman logo on his forehead. As you can see, I traced out in pencil so I could envision how I would paint it. He also has these weird... I used Dr. Eggman's mustache to make the, I'm gonna go ahead and call them the mustache mutton chops, because they're shaped like Eggman's mustache, but that is not where a mustache is supposed to be attached. I know it's not technically where mutton chops are supposed to be attached either, but come on, what else would you call them? Whatever, that's just a weird shape. So, with all the parts made, let's just paint him up and see what he looks like completed. And here's the completed Mega Man. As you can see, his legs are a little smaller and they are straight. Although now his arms look a little bit big. Oh well. I had to work with what I had. There aren't really that many Mega Man figures in this scale. But yeah, he has the... I mean, as far as roboticized masters go, there really isn't much to it. I mean, if there was a proper Jazzwares Mega Man figure, I wouldn't even have had to sculpt on the boots. I would have just had to maybe add a little bit of accoutrement. So yeah, if I didn't have to sculpt the legs pretty much from scratch, this would actually have been a much simpler project than making Sonic Man, but, this is where we are. And speaking of which, let's get a side-by-side. I like how Sonic Man has a big W on his forehead for Wily, while Mega Man has Dr. Eggman's logo on his forehead. It's kind of like showing how they've been conquered by each other's villains. Okay, so that has been my final personal project for the month of November. I am very close to completing my next commission, so you'll be seeing that pretty soon. And I hope you guys support me on Patreon. You all have a good time. I'm signing off.